Tyson Fury has a huge challenge coming up against Oleksandr Usyk, and John Fury has lost it on Tyson for not training seriously for Usyk. With the fight against Usyk coming up, Tyson has admitted that he's not training near as much as people think he should be, and he stated, "I'm not even in the gym. I'm not in the gym. I don't train this far out." Come on, who do you think you're talking to? A professional athlete? I trained for 4 or 5 weeks for these fights. Like I said, I trained 12 weeks for Wilder and everybody else. 4 or 5 weeks. How much training does a man need? 3 or 4 weeks of sparring, 1 week resting. Done. We've been boxing all our lives from little boys. How much training do we need? I'm sure we're not going to forget how to box, and it's not a fitness competition, is it? So I don't think we need more than 5 weeks training. Bob Arum is one of the people who have criticized Tyson's lack of preparation in the Francis Ngannou fight, and he's his promoter. Bob stated, "Let's be honest. You watch Fury's last fight with Ngannou, either he really wasn't prepared for that fight or he's lost a step. When fighters get up in age, that happens. I really believe it's the former, that Fury didn't prepare as well as he should have against Ngannou, who, by the way, has the tools to become a force in the heavyweight division. I really believe Fury versus Usyk is going to be a fascinating fight. Usyk is a very smart fighter. He prepares extremely well. He's fearless. That will be a very big test for Fury. Fury knows that. He's been training assiduously for the fight. In Fury's last fight with Francis Ngannou, Teddy Atlas broke down how he wasn't as prepared as he should have been. And he stated, Fury was not unprepared physically, but perhaps mentally. Ngannou was the puncher in this fight, no doubt about it. Fury is a terrific fighter, a terrific boxer, and everything else, but he's not the pure puncher. He's a big guy. He hits you. He knocks out certain guys. He knocked out Wilder twice, he hits you with all that size. He hits you right, of course. He's a puncher, but pure TNT. Only certain guys have it, and I think the guy who really had it that night in a pure way is probably Ngannou. Moses Aduma has been in Tyson's training camp, and he feels like he's prepared well for Oleksandr Usyk, though.
Well, do you know what it is? See, when you're in the ring with Fury, you know you're in with a world-class fighter. When you're sparring some boys and they're just English class or the European class, and then you got someone that's like, you just feel like it's from a different planet. That's what Fury's like a little bit. Like, for a big guy, man, I ain't got a clue how he moves so well. His engine and also his hand speed is nice, out of this world, 100%.
You're in a very beneficial position, and a lot of boxing fans and analysts would love to be in your position to see Tyson Fury in this camp, because he's been very quiet. How is he looking ahead of the Oleksandr Usyk fight, and how do you think that fight goes in your opinion?
I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm confident. I'm confident he's gonna win. Yeah, we're just going to have to wait.
Josh Warrington definitely doesn't think that Tyson looks as good as he used to, and he warned him about facing Oleksandr. Josh stated, "It's a clash of styles. There's not many fighters who stand nearly 7 feet tall, can move the way Tyson Fury does. With that being said, the Francis Ngannou fight has done him no credit whatsoever. He didn't look the same. He didn't look like Tyson Fury of old. I know Usyk is a hell of a boxer. He's got so many skills, so I've sat on the fence a few times. I've kinda leaned toward Fury a few times, but at this moment in time, I'm leaning toward Usyk. The size difference isn't that big, and I feel that Usyk's boxing skills and defense is just going to be too much." Spencer Oliver wants to assure fans that Tyson is going to be in peak physical shape for Tyson, and he's going to be ready to face Oleksandr. Spencer stated, "Tyson Fury, trust me, will be in the shape of his life going into this fight with Oleksandr Usyk, because he knows what he's going into. Forget that performance against Francis Ngannou. You won't see that again, because that was Tyson Fury not prepared. When you don't have a fear factor as a fighter, you might cut a few corners training because you think this geezer has never boxed before. I'm going to play around with Ngannou and put a bit of a show on, and I'm going to have this undisputed fight." And it went horribly wrong for Fury, because he obviously didn't recognize how good Ngannou was. That was Fury Fury underestimating and having no fear factor. You won't see Fury like that again. I think size is going to be a huge factor in the fight, and Fury has got a great boxing IQ as well. I fancy Tyson Fury to put on a master class on the 17th. Tyson Fury is definitely trying to play the mental game against Usyk, and he took some personal jabs at him during a recent press conference.
You know what's coming, you're getting smashed to pieces, sausage. You're fighting the best British heavyweight there's ever been. The fucking dauntless in these waters, me. You beat all the rest of them, but you ain't beat Tyson Fury yet, sausage. Look at him, his heart's pounding now. He's like a little with an earring in. Shit. His balls have shriveled up now, they have. Little sausage.
I don't more
with an earring
speak.
in. You fucking pussy.
I'm very happy.
Bermain Stavern definitely thinks that Tyson just had an off night against Francis Ngannou, and he doesn't think that that's going to happen here. Bermain stated, "I think Tyson Fury had an off night against Francis Ngannou, and we will see a different fighter against Oleksandr Usyk, and I think he wins the fight. He is the bigger fighter and is like a middleweight. He is tall, can move, and is awkward, so I have to go with Tyson Fury to win that fight." Eddie Hearn believes that Tyson will win against Usyk, but he still has some doubts about what he saw in the fight against Francis Ngannou.
I think Tyson Fury wins the fight. I mean, it all depends on if what we saw in the Ngannou fight was just him not taking it seriously, or if it was him in decline, he's going to have a tough night against Usyk. I think he's going to be too big in that fight. If he's switched on, if he trains properly, which you'd expect him to do and be, I expect him to win, but you can't rule out Oleksandr Usyk. It's a tremendous heavyweight clash, another massive fight in Saudi Arabia, and great for the heavyweight division and great for boxing that we're seeing that undisputed fight.
Artur Beterbiev really believes that the fighter who is preparing better will be the winner, but he's still leaning toward Tyson. Artur stated, "I said when they fight Oleksandr Usyk with Joshua, I said I think Joshua is going to win. I'm more for Joshua because he's a real heavyweight. He's not a cruiserweight. There's a big difference. I say who is preparing well will win. Now too, I think Tyson Fury is going to win, but whoever's preparing well, he's going to win." John Fury hasn't been too happy with Tyson's training camp though, and he put a lot of blame on them for how they've handled the fight against Francis Ngannou. John stated, "If he's woken up and smelt the coffee, it'll be a Tyson win, and if he hasn't, good luck to the other team. The best team and best man will win on the night. Can I compare Sugar Hill and the rest of the team with Usyk's team? On the last showing, definitely not. Everybody is entitled to the benefit of the doubt, but if they get it wrong, it's a bad place to be. The undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Tyson is good enough to do his own thing, like he did in the last 3 rounds against Ngannou, because the instructions were pathetic. He'll use his own brain. He's a vet. He'll do what's right for him." John really feels like Tyson's training camp is in decline, and he compared it to more of a circus than anything. John stated, "It's the people around him who ain't up to much. His training's in decline and his camp's in a bigger decline. It's not a camp, it's a circus. I saw him in the gym in Saudi, watched him spar 3 or 4 rounds with a couple of kids. I knew then it was gonna be a hard night's work. I thought, what have you been doing? I was alarmed. I still am. Unless you're gonna get the eye of the tiger back and go to the old ways and get the hunger back, sweat, blood, shit, and tears. Because Usyk's doing that. Sweat, blood, shit, and tears. And he's got disciplined, professional, great people around him. And I don't think Tyson has that. I really don't. Absolutely, if he doesn't make any adjustments, it could well be his first defeat." Frank Warren understood where John was coming from as a father, but he assured fans about Tyson's status.
Well, look, of course they do. If I hear these things, of course. I mean, I'm not in the training camp every day. I'm not even in there any day, to be quite honest. It's their training camp. Tyson's a very, very sensible guy. Very, very sensible. John's his dad, and as a dad, he cares about his son, obviously, and he cares about what's going on around him, and that's his view. How he's come about with that view, I mean, that's between him and his boy. But Tyson's known for, he's like, what's Tyson now, 35 years of age, so it's not like he's some young kid starting out. He's very switched on. When he took Ben Davison on, everybody said, well, who's Ben Davison? Why is he taking him on as a trainer? And Ben did fairly well, and then he dropped Ben stop that partnership. And everybody said, why has he done that? And he took on Sugar, and everybody was saying, who's Sugar Hill? Correct?
Right, that's true.
And then it comes out and has this devastating knockout against Deontay. So Tyson's not a slouch. He knows what he's doing.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.